Everyone, this is Richard with 71 Innovation. I've been making my bolt tool for about a year now, so it seems like a great time to make a video to discuss the features of the tool, how it works, and even discuss a little bit of the feedback I've gotten over the past year. Let's get started. If you aren't familiar with this tool, its purpose in life is to help disassemble and, more importantly, reassemble bolts for the M1 Garand, M14, and M1A platform rifles. If you shoot enough, eventually you have to service these bolts, clean them, or replace parts. Obviously, there are some government tools like the combination tool or the M10 tool that are used to do this. They have a lot of good features, but they also have some shortcomings. Generally speaking, they do very well at taking the bolt apart, but not so great about getting it back together. Let me do a quick demo of how this tool works. The tool itself is set up to center the bolt on this face, and it has two retaining areas to capture the backside of the lugs. In the storage areas, there's a small piece of key stock here. We just loosen the binding screw and remove that. That piece of key stock slides in here for use. And so we're going to disassemble the bolt here. We start off with the ejector on the top dead center. And we simply thread this in. What that does is when the screw hits the back of the housing, it has compressed that spring enough that you can remove the extractor. I like to use just the tip of a bullet, but you can use a punch or anything else. The great thing is, as you do this, none of the springs escape. Once that's out, as you can take out firing pin, the spring is still inside of here, and the screw is still controlling the spring here. We back off the spring tension in a very controlled manner until the bolt is loose, and we can disassemble it the rest of the way. This whole process works the same for the M14 bolt as well. In both cases, the bolt is controlled in the backside of the lugs. All right, so reassembly. This is usually the tricky part. This is usually the time when you start chasing springs across the room. But let's go with this. Remember to line up the cutout here in the ejector. So to reassemble, this fits down in this slot here. It's just the reverse order of what we did. Tighten the screw back. We are. Flip this over. Push the extractor back in. I just push in with the thumb. Everything's back in place. Relieve the spring tension, and your bolt's back together. No more chasing springs across the room. Key stock goes back in its holding position. All right, let's talk about 6 features and benefits of this tool. Hopefully in the previous section where we did the demonstration, point number 1 was made, which is that it's easy to use and requires minimal strength and dexterity. The way that the locking features control the lug and the screw controls the spring tension, you really can use both hands to get the job done, and you never have to exert any excess strength. Point number 2, the tool works with the M1 Garand, the M14, and M1A platform rifle bolts. It does this without any alterations at all to the tool. Since all the work is on the front part of the bolt and on the bolt face, it treats all bolts the same way. Point number 3, the spring tension is controlled throughout the process for both the assembly and disassembly. In particular, the reassembly of the bolt is the most difficult typically, and that's where the screw and the square punch really do a great job of making sure that there is no chance of the spring escaping. Point number 4, the size and weight. Size and weight of the tool is obviously very small. It's lightweight, which makes it handy to fit in a drawer, or it can go in your range bag. Point number 5, replaceable parts. I debated about whether this should go on the list, but I think it should. If you're one of those guys that just can't resist taking something apart, you might take this screw out and accidentally lose it. It really is just a 632 screw, and you can pick one up at your hardware store. Likewise, the punch that controls the spring is really just a piece of 1/8" key stock. Again, any hardware store should be able to replace that if you happen to lose it. Thankfully, both should stay in place with the tool. There's really no need to take this out, and there's no reason to leave this somewhere where you can lose it because it can lock into place on the tool. And lastly, point number 6, I think this offers excellent value through thoughtful design, smart material selection, and modern manufacturing. I'd like to end by saying over the last year, I've received a tremendous amount of positive feedback and a lot of support from the community in general. I couldn't be more appreciative of all of that. I've also had a few questions about the product. Mostly it's centered around the fact that it's made out of plastic. A few people seemed concerned that it might not fulfill the job. Hopefully this video has shown that through the careful design and selection of materials and the fact that it was purpose-built and designed for that material, that it is more than up to the task. You can see more detailed pictures and find out more about the product at 71innovation.com. See you at the range.